Hi Allison, it's Mr. Dolan. I just wanted to send you a quick video hoping that it would help you with understanding some of the things that I'm going to be sending home to read and your textbook to read about history so far. So most of the stuff that we've done in history class so far this year has just been about discussion and quick writing prompts. But I wanted to explain a little bit about where we are in our study. So the first thing that we've started doing is talking about what is history and really why is it important. So if you look behind me, I have this little whiteboard which I'm going to try to use. I hope it is clear enough so that you can see it. If not, please let me know and I will send you a handout of all the lessons that we have done so far. But we've started out talking about what is history and why is it important. If you look right here, I have the definition of history is really simple. It's the study of the past. And that's really all it is. It's a very broad definition because there's all types of history. There's the history when I'm looking at my web pages that I've visited. There's history of baseball cards. There's the history of the Philadelphia Eagles, their wins and losses. There's all sorts of history around us. But if you really scale it back, history is just the study of the past. So I asked my students and I ask you, why do we study it? Why waste an entire portion of each day of the school year studying history? Well, one of the reasons is because history teaches us and helps us to make sure that we don't make mistakes that we have in the past. So, why study history? Avoid mistakes of the past. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to work very often. We seem to make the same mistakes over and over again as human beings. Another reason is because we like to base a lot of the things on that we do today off the success that we've had in the past. So think of the caveman making the first wheel. We now can build greater wheels, which have improved over time with technology, to help us in our travels. So, improve on inventions of the past. And this last one's a little bit harder to identify and to talk about. But one of the things that we learn to understand from us studying our history is that we learn more about the culture, about the people that we are and as human beings. So depending on where you're from, if you're from South Carolina and you study all of the history of South Carolina and understand what types of jobs people had when they first settled there, what types of food they eat, which is their form of communication and the type of music they like to listen to, you'll notice that it's a little bit different than somebody who might have been born in Maine or in New Hampshire. That's all part of history because you're understanding the past and why it was important into understanding who we are today. Okay? So really one of the reasons that we study history is to better know ourselves. So, that being said, that's a pretty basic introduction to history. But what we need to do is we need to start understanding how people discover history. And the people that really do a lot of the work for us when we are trying to figure out how history has been pieced together like a big gigantic puzzle is we talk about archaeology. Archaeology is a very important job. It's a type of scientist and historian that goes out, and that type of person goes out and tries to study what it is about the past and piece that together so that we can learn about it. So the study of archaeology is the study of things, and we'll talk about this word things in a second, left behind by other civilizations. It's very important that we know what archaeology and an archaeologist does, because an archaeologist goes out and they try to find two items. And those two items, which are these things I was talking about, are fossils or artifacts. There's a very big difference between these two things. Fossils are things that you've probably heard of more often than anything when you're talking about history. Those are things like dinosaur bones, the footprints that were left behind by the dinosaurs. You hear about them a lot with dinosaurs and with older animals. Fossils are actual pieces of bone or parts of an animal or a human being that were left behind. Those are natural. These are super valuable, so valuable. And I'll share in my next video a little video about a discovery that has just been made in the last year that has given us almost more fossils of early human beings than we ever had before. Very cool stuff. An artifact, though, is an object that was man-made. So when I say man-made, that means that, yes, a woman could have made it, but it's really just the term that people use when they're talking about artifacts. If something is man-made, that means it is made by humans. And an artifact is something like that. So anytime you might find, if you're looking around your house, an old coin or maybe an old tool, historians and archaeologists dig these up too in different locations around the planet. And they find these and they pick them up and try to study and identify what they were used for. So an artifact is something that is a man-made object from a period longer ago. Okay, I know that's a quick 6-minute video and there's kind of a lot in there. I'm hoping that this is easy to read. I know that color red kind of is all over the place. But I am putting up a couple extra videos about what we've been doing, and I will put them up right after this. All right, thanks.